Welcome to the podcast, Grace.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Thanks for coming out. I really appreciate it. I know you got a little bit of a drive to come out here. So, I do appreciate it. And it's a Monday, beginning of the work week. So
starting it off on the right note, that's for sure.
Yeah, this is a great way to start it.
Exactly.
Okay, before we get too much into it, you own Grace and Glamour Boutique.
Glamour and Grace, yes.
Glamour and Grace?
Glamour and Grace, yes. It's okay. Sorry. 9 out of 10 people say Grace and Glamour. I mean, I go by either. It's fine.
Yeah, okay. No, I think I'm glad you corrected me. And
okay.
I don't know. I guess I should have researched it a little bit better.
It's fine. It's fine.
So you started out in Rosebud.
Yes, I did. Well, actually, I guess I should probably backtrack. I started online in June of 2020, and then Rosebud was where I opened my first store about a year later before expanding anywhere else. So it was
really
you were
all e-commerce first?
All e-com, yes. 100%.
How'd you learn about that?
I kind of just taught myself. I mean, I have 2 college degrees. I minored in entrepreneurship, but actually doing it and starting your own website and stuff, you really just have to learn to figure it out on your own. I mean, there's courses out there. There's all sorts of great resources. So you just have to be willing to sit down, put in the work, research it, and actually do it. And also understand that it's not going to be perfect the first time around. And that's okay because you're learning every day. So pretty much I just researched, watched YouTube, talked to people. Do
you think you got more out of school or more out of real life experience?
Real life for sure.
Really?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm so glad that I went to school. I would never not go just because it's something I always wanted to do and accomplish. But I learned maybe 1 or 2 things that have actually stuck with me in school. Everything else has just been from actually digging in and doing it and finding my own resources.
Yeah.
So 100%.
I think that's so important.
I do too.
I don't believe in school at all.
It's,
I think if someone wants to go to school, like you said, it was just a goal of yours to go to school.
Yeah, it was a personal thing.
Yes. Hey, that's perfectly fine. But
I know.
Especially me, I didn't get much from school.
I mean, people ask me all the time, especially high schoolers and stuff, will come into one of the 2 stores and be like, do I need school? And I always get nervous because the parents are staring at me, tell them yes. And I'm I don't want to lie, So I just tell them, it's a personal choice. You can do it without, you can do it with. And it also, I feel depends on your field too. Of course, medical, you can't just get into that.
Yeah.
But business and all that kind of stuff, it's honestly just, you control it. It's not your education. It's your drive. It's your determination, your motivation,
passion.
All of that. Exactly. So I feel you'll learn along the way what you need to learn.
I think that's great advice.
Yeah.
For some young kid, because maybe, you might not know it, but this kid coming in, he might be looking at it I can't afford college, but can I still achieve this dream?
Oh,
so
100%.
you to be able to tell him that,
yeah,
hey, you can still achieve this even if you don't go to school.
Exactly.
I think that's great because I know as a kid, if someone told me, they're you don't have to go to school to start a business. You just go and start the business. That would have been big for me, I think.
Exactly. And I got to say, I mean, if I didn't do school, I probably would have grown a little quicker. We definitely had a very rapid growth stage after I graduated. But I kind of I graduated one weekend and then the next weekend is whenever I opened the Rosebud store. So it was all right there with each other. So whether it was specifically opening the store or just the fact that I had one less thing on my plate, I'm not really sure as far as that goes. But I will say we have seen tremendous growth since I've been done with school and I'm not pouring all my time into completing assignments.
Yeah, now you can just focus on your business.
Yes, it's much better.
And the growth of it.
Yes.
Well, okay, so you started, when you were in college, you started this business.
Yes, I was I did college in 3 years. So I was technically I think a junior. I was second semester junior and I was 19. So.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. When did this dream come about?
So honestly, and she hears this so much, but I had a high school class. Miss Bowen taught it. It was a business class. And we had to do a project where we started a business. And back in the day, I knew I loved the aspect of business, but I never knew what I wanted to do. And so I was well, I don't know what kind of business to start. I was well, I like shopping. I guess I'll do a boutique, why not? Yeah. And then once I actually started researching and getting into the project, I just fell in love with not only entrepreneurship, but the retail industry as a whole. Mm-hmm. And so then I remember texting my mom, my dad, my sister, telling all my friends, I was I'm going to start a boutique one day. I think I said it was Sunny Days. I think that was the name of it in high school. I don't know.
That's not a bad name.
I wasn't as creative back then. But,
I think that's a pretty creative name.
I was proud of it. I was proud of it in the moment.
There's definitely a positive, optimistic spin on that.
Yeah, I feel that's definitely what it has to be. But I remember telling them, and then I got really nervous, and I was well, how do you even start it? And I was what if I can't find employees? And what about all this stuff? I was thinking about all the things instead of just thinking about getting it going.
Yeah.
And then I got into real estate. Like I chickened out. I got into real estate and I enjoyed it, but I just wasn't my passion. Like it just did not light me up. Like I never wanted to go into the office. I never wanted to like stay up all night working. And then I was like, you know what? It's now or never. Like I'm young. I didn't have a house payment at the time. I have no kids, no responsibilities. I was like, this is it. And I texted my family, like fully thinking that they were going to like talk me out of it or be like, you just like got out of real estate, just finished school, see what's up. But no, they were all so supportive. And then I was like, okay, I'm doing this dang thing. And I announced it in April, opened in June.
Cool.
So it was fun.
That is cool. That is very fun.
Yeah.
And you've done great since too, because now you have a store in Chesterfield, right?
Chesterfield too. Yeah, we are in Rosebud, and we're also at the St. Louis Premium Outlets up in Chesterfield.
And you've been there a while, a year now?
Rosebud's been a year. We opened that, last May.
No, you've been in Rosebud way longer than that.
No, only a year, May 2021, and then Chesterfield opened on June 4th.
Wow.
So I know it feels like forever. I feel like I'm like
June 4th of this year?
Yeah, June 4th of this year. It's insane.
That
I
is
always
insane.
make jokes. I'm like, we're at one store a year. Like, where are we going to go next?
Yeah.
But then anytime someone asks me, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, let me get into the groove of this first, and then we'll see.
So do you plan on expanding out? Is that the dream?
I definitely do. Yes. We're actually getting ready to kind of like, I'm still like finalizing the paperwork, but we're going to go to one more location for the holiday season. It's just like a little pop-up. It's kind of like October through December, but that's going to be at Mid Rivers Mall. So now that we're in a mall, I just really love it. Like I love the standalone store also, but like being in a mall and like just the environment there and like talking to all the other employees in store, and it's like, it's just fun. Like it's a fun place to be. I love being in like either store really, but I just love the environments of it. So we're going to go there October through December, kind of test that out, see if I like having 3 stores, see like when we may expand next, and just kind of go from there. But I mean, at this point, my dream was always Wildwood or Chesterfield. And now that we're up there, I'm just kind of letting the opportunity come to me. Like I'm not really looking. I'm not like actively searching. I'm just going to see what falls in my lap. And if I feel like it's right, we'll do it. If I don't, I'll know there's something better.
Yeah, you have workers that work for you though, right?
I do. Yeah.
In each location?
Yes.
Each location.
So it's actually really funny because I tell them all the time, because I'm still learning how to be a boss. Like I tell them all the time, I'm like, you guys, in January of this year, I had 0 employees. It was just me. Now we have 6. So I'm like, I went from like not only 1, like I had no bumper area. I mean, like I had Addie for a while before opening Chesterfield, of course. So I did have like the small one with just 1, but then like when we got into Chesterfield, like it happened really fast. Like now we have 4 sales associates in Chesterfield, and then we also have a girl that strictly just does our inventory and our processing and all that kind of stuff. And then of course we have Addie out here in Rosebud that does all the days out there. So
yeah, that's cool. Well, it seems like you're definitely figuring it out.
I'm learning and I'm reminding myself I've never done this before, and I'll learn as I go. But like this time next year, I'll know how to do all this stuff, and I'll have different challenges. So.
I think that book we were talking about before the podcast, the Cash Flow Quadrant, I think you should read that book because it really digs into deep. Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
It's not very expensive. And there's audiobooks out there. YouTube has it for free. You can listen to it absolutely for free on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
And so like, because I can't read. Like I have, like whenever I start reading a book, it like just gives me ideas and starts motivating me, and I just like get all this energy from it. Yeah. And then I just want to go out and try it. And so that's why I never finish it, because I get through a portion of it.
Yes.
And I really believe like analysis paralysis.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? Where like you get into like this thing where you just keep learning and you never actually jump on it because fear is holding you back. And so I always told myself, I'm like, once you learn something, just go out and try it.
Exactly.
And then if it doesn't work out, take a step back, try something else.
And at least you know.
Yeah.
At least you know.
And the book talks about like a really important thing about business and like growing is not just to sell the product, but to build a system for the product. Like the system's the most important thing. Like you got to have a product to sell. But if you have no system for it to run, that's where all the flaws start to come in.
Exactly.
And it seems like you're really developing a system already.
I'm getting there. I mean, like going into, honestly, either store, I didn't really have systems. Like it was just me. I knew every single area and aspect of everything that went on. Like I didn't really have to because it was only me. But like now that like I'm working with other girls and have them working for me, like if I don't have systems and I'm not organized, I can't expect them to be. And like them to properly carry out. So like, for example, like at the moment, all of our inventory is in either store. Like we don't have a specific warehouse that we keep extras in. And then as it sells online, then they just know, pull it from the floor, put it in the back, and then we'll pack it and ship it out. But like if they didn't know that system, then we're going to be overselling. We're going to have to refund. We're going to have people angry with us. So it's just even minor things like that. And like even our inventory went from me like the day before launch day, I'd like hurry up and unpack it. I'll get it steamed, tagged, all of this, stay up all night. Now it's like, okay, we know on Mondays they go into the store. Tuesdays our girl comes in and gets them done. She gets them tagged, all of that. Wednesdays they go out on the floor, like all that kind of stuff. So it's much less stressful having the systems.
Yes.
And knowing the flow of how things work than just trying to stay on top of it and stay ahead every single week.
Right.
So,
but the more you expand, the more you're going to have those systems.
Yeah.
Because you imagine having 10 different locations and not having a system planned out. It'd be a mess.
Yeah.
You
I'd be so stressed.
You couldn't do it.
I'd be so stressed. There's no way. There's no way. But no, I mean, I really am understanding too. And now I'm starting to spiral on like, I call it like the more nerdy side of the business. Like I honestly got into it because I love being creative. I love fashion. I love shopping. And I really have noticed too, like when you look good, you feel good. Like you put on a good outfit and you are on level 100, like nothing's messing with you today. But then you walk out of the house in like your pajamas and you're like, ugh, like they cut me off. It's fine. Like, you know, and so that's another thing that I really love about it is just ensuring that like I'm always teaching my girls that our passion is behind it. Like we're not just there to like make the money and sell the clothes. We're there to actually like clothe people and let them know like we're here for them. We're their cheerleaders. We're hyping them up. We're making sure that they're feeling confident. Like the number one thing I ask people when they come in to try stuff on, I'm like, from an outsider's perspective, I think it looks amazing on you. But I'm like, how do you feel? Like, do you feel good in this? Are you gonna wear this? And like, I don't honestly like want them to leave or ever come in and think like, oh, I have to shop here because like she'll be sad if I don't. Like I of course want as many people to shop with me as possible, but I also want to ensure that they're shopping with me for the right reasons. Yeah. So that's like one main thing behind it is making
great.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that's great. And I think the people that come and they actually do like it, they're going to keep coming back because of that.
The amount of relationships.
I think that's what separates you from a lot of people that just open a boutique just to make the money. Yeah. That's where things are going to start to separate.
I mean, the amount of relationships that I've found, like I had one girl that came in and it was in Chesterfield. She came in like our grand opening weekend. And then the next week, like she shopped with us. I was talking to her and her boyfriend at the time. She shopped with us. And then she messaged me like a week later. She's like, oh my God, I just got engaged. Like, what do you have for me? So like, it was just that quick to build a relationship. But now like every time she comes in, I love talking to her. I'm like, how's the wedding planning going? Like, what's up in your guys' lives? Like, I just truly love my customers. Like they're more than just a dollar sign to me. They're actually like relationships and friends.
Yeah, that's important. I think that's super important. I do the same thing at my gym. I try to make sure I learn everybody's name. I try to learn stuff about them. I genuinely care about them.
Exactly.
And like I get to be kind of a part of these people's lives a little bit. And so I think that's huge. I think that's one of those determining factors is what's separating you from the rest. Yeah. That's why you're growing so much.
I definitely try. Care. Yeah. I definitely try.
That's genuine right there.
Yeah. I also really take people's, like, I mean, of course, like I see certain things from my standpoint that the general public doesn't, but I always take people's like requests and ask into consideration. Like, for example, when we just started, we were small through like large, possibly XL, depending on the vendor, but so many people went in plus size. So now we're like pretty much so very steadily carrying small through 3X. Well, now that like in Chesterfield, people are wanting extra small through 3X. So now I'm like really working on finding the extra small vendors too. Like I'm not scared to put in the work for my customers because I know that they are trusting in me to clothe them and style them and give them the best of the best. So like I'm here for it. I'm ready to show up and I'm going to do whatever it takes for them. So
can we talk about, because most women are probably going to know what a boutique is, but I don't think most men probably aren't, unless they have like a wife or a girlfriend or something that shops at a boutique. So a boutique is actually classified as what?
So it's very niche like down. So you have your big box stores that have kids, men's, women's, housing, like a lot of them sometimes like Kohl's even has like certain food sections, stuff like that. A boutique is very niche. So like you have your specific target market, whereas mine is like 25 to 36. Now that doesn't mean that only people who are 25 to 36 can shop with me because it's all about how you style the piece. But like whenever I'm going and buying clothes, I'm thinking of the ladies in that age range. What are they doing on their day-to-day basis? What are they shopping for? What kind of clothes do they like to wear? What are they comfortable in? What do they look like? All that kind of stuff to make sure that I'm actually like giving them options that they're going to use and need. Whereas like with I don't know, Macy's is like coming to my mind. Like they have all the genre of everything. I'm very niche and I have a specific style. Like there's different sorts of boutique too. We're very like modern and trendy. Whereas there's like Western boutiques, there's boho boutiques. So it's really finding your niche and digging down on that. And I feel like that's like the hardest thing about having the boutique is because I hate when people come in and are like sad because like we might not be their style. And like, I don't want to sit there and like school them and be like, well, I'm not going to be your style. Cause like, you know, we're very niche. Like they're like, we need to get styles like this and that. And I'm always like very nice. I'm like, I know, like, you know, maybe one day, but I always remind myself at the end of the day, like, this is who I'm trying to talk to. And this is why, like, this is the purpose that I'm trying to give them. And I just use that to keep me going.
Yeah. Well, you can't keep everyone happy.
I learned that very quickly.
It doesn't matter what you do. Like
Exactly.
someone's going to be like, oh, you should do this, or you should do that.
Right.
And it's just, you got to kind of stay in your lane.
Yes. I've learned that.
But it is like, it's like a high end.
It's a little bit higher end for sure. But I mean, in all honesty, the quality is there too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have nothing against
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
higher end.
nothing
It's
against
a much
Walmart or
better
Target
quality.
at all. But like, if you want those discounted deals, and you're gonna have to go there because like the boutiques, we are finding the quality pieces. Like, I don't just sell anything. If I get something in my store and it's not the quality that I thought it was, I'm not gonna sell it. And it sucks because it's a loss on me, and I hate that so much. But I'm not going to expect someone to spend their money on that, their hard-earned money, if I know it's just going to fall apart after one wash. Like, I'm very into my quality. I stand behind it. And I feel like that's definitely something that has set us apart, is knowing that when you come to Glamour and Grace, you're getting good quality. And while our prices may be more than like a big box stores or like a discount store, you're going to wear the pieces for much longer. Like, Shein is a big one that people talk about all the time. And I have nothing against them. I was like a huge fan of it. But their quality compared to boutique quality, like, you're paying $8 for a shirt, but that's $8 per use because you're getting one use out of it. Whereas a boutique, you may be paying like $30, $40 for a shirt, but you're getting like unlimited uses out of it, many more. You can wash it, you can dry it.
I feel like $30, $40 really isn't that expensive anymore either.
It's not at all. I mean, prices have definitely rose, and that's like one thing that is scary, especially for small business owners, is because looking at our prices, like when we started compared to now, like they're definitely a little bit higher, but it's all in the economy. Like, it's nothing that I'm not
everything
just
else in the world.
Exactly. Like, I'm not just like, oh, you know, everything else is rising, I'm going to make my prices rise. It's like a legitimate need to ensure that I can keep my lights on and keep a paycheck going into my employees' bank accounts and just keep the business growing too. Like, we're in a very rapid growth stage. So the biggest thing that I'm having to make sure we're doing is continuing to grow and not just sitting.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, no, that's super important. And there's been products that I sell that I was once selling it at this price, and then the manufacturer bumped up their price.
Yeah.
And if I would have left it there, I would have been losing money on the product. It's
insane.
There's things that are completely out of my control. Like, there was a product that the largest manufacturer in China completely shut down.
Oh.
And so the supply got cut in half, and the price doubled.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't know what to tell you guys.
It stings to see.
This is out of our hands.
Exactly. I mean, it burns to see, because like, you know that you're going to have like your loyal followers that are like, oh, it's like, you know, that's fine. Like, I understand. But then there's a certain people that you're going to have to just nicely be like, I know you don't love the price increase, but it's out of my control. Like, I will physically be losing money and not keeping my lights on if I don't bump my prices up to match what they need to be. So that's definitely a struggle. And I feel like, especially whenever I started mid-COVID, and everyone like asked me, they're like, why did you do that? Well, I started the planning and legalizing everything in January of 2020. So I had no clue, just like everyone else. And then, I mean, honestly though, like, I just pivoted. I pushed through. I changed my way of doing things. And I feel like that's something I'm just reminding myself with every single bump. Like, that's definitely something that I've learned in entrepreneurship, is the second you get comfortable, don't enjoy it, because like 3 minutes later, a tidal wave's going to come, and you're going to have to learn how to swim through it and get over it. And I mean, honestly though, I'm to the point now where I hate being comfortable.
Same.
Like, you're not growing if you're comfortable. And I made a joke to someone the other day. She was like, she's like, well, you seem like you're doing good. I was like, no, I could throw up at any minute. Like, I'm so nervous all the time. I'm so stressed all the time, but like, I just go on. Like, this is what entrepreneurship is. It's what growing is.
It makes you tough.
It does. Yeah. I mean, I have very thick skin. I've heard it all. I've heard many things. I've grown very thick skin. Nothing phases me anymore. I'm like, okay, it's fine.
Did you see that thing on Facebook? Like 2 weeks ago, a guy came to my gym and I wasn't there, and he tried making a post to like take my business, just make my business look bad.
No,
you didn't see that?
No.
So do you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is?
Yes.
You like him?
Yes.
I love him.
Yeah.
And he's been like a big inspiration for me. I get a lot of stuff off him, and I just learned a lot through him. And this basically, it was a Friday. Yeah. And my worker was sick. I have a chick that runs the office. Yeah. And so she was gone, so I was watching the gym that day. And it was like 3:00. I hadn't ate lunch yet, so I ran out to lunch. Yeah. And when I was gone, this dude showed up. The gym's completely locked up. It's 24 hours, so it's just locked up. Yeah. And members can still get in, but he couldn't get in. Oh. And he showed up. I wasn't there, and he didn't try to call. Didn't try to shoot me a message like on Facebook or nothing like that. Just I see the video. He just walked up, tried to open the door, wouldn't work.
Yeah.
He said he rang a doorbell, but I don't have a doorbell there.
Exactly.
And then so he left, went straight to Facebook, made a post on like a local Facebook page, and just said, he's like, yeah, went to he didn't even call it the right place, called the Parlor Fitness. And he's like, at Friday at 3:30, no one was there. I'll never do business here again. Or just something like trying to bring it down.
Yeah.
And I had immediately seen it. Immediately. Like if he would have sent me a message, I would have immediately been able to send him a message back. And I was at the gym when he made this post, so I just missed him.
Yes.
But he tried to do it to bring me down, and I'm like, I knew it was gonna, like, it just happens.
Exactly, it's part of it.
And so I first comment on there, I said, hey man, I ran out for a late lunch. Sorry I missed you. If you ever want to come back, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
And I just try to hit him with kindness, and that was like all I could do.
Exactly.
And then everybody in the community just like had my back, and they just blew up on him, and they're like, this dude's working hard, all this crap, and I didn't have a single negative comment. There was like 50 comments.
Exactly.
And it got to the point where, and I used it because I do like TikTok and everything, so I just used it for like my content on there, and it helped me. But what was amazing was he made this post to try to bring me down. I just hit him with kindness, and then the whole community backed me up. And through this post, I got 20 likes on my fitness.
Oh my gosh!
Just because
it's crazy how it works.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, those keyboard warriors, they're tough behind a screen, but like he'd never come in and say that to your face.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's another tough part, like something that you really have to get thick skin with in entrepreneurship. If I'm being totally honest, I have not had a day off in over 2 years. Like. Yeah. Honestly, since probably January, whenever I first started working in the business, like you just don't get to take days off. Like even whenever I'm on vacation or doing something, if I'm not physically in the store, I'm still working. I'm still doing stuff. Like that's the beauty of having an e-commerce side to things is I can hire out the in-person and still work on the e-commerce. But I feel like sometimes like there's an expectation that like, why are you not in store? Why are you not doing this? Why are you not here right now? And it's just like really training your people to be like, I am a human. Like I do have a life too. I do have like personal things that I have to deal with and take care of also, just like you. But I mean, I can say I've been very, very, very blessed with such a great customer base of all loving, supportive people. So I definitely feel you whenever you said everyone flooded in, because that just shows that like what you're doing really does make a difference. Like, because I know like you obviously know you are, but just like sometimes to hear it from others and see like this is true, it just boosts you. It boosts your confidence back up.
I always try to like tell them thank you too. Like I probably once a month I probably make a post just saying, hey, thanks everyone for the love and support. Like this really means a lot to me, and I hope I never lose that.
I know.
Anybody that ever shares my stuff on Facebook, anybody that like helps me grow or like anything like that, I always try to tell them thank you, and I try to let them know like how much I appreciate it. It does mean a lot.
I agree. And then like sometimes I'll like miss something that someone shared on Facebook, or like if their profile is private and like we don't become friends till later, and like it pulls up like weeks later, I feel awful. I'm like, oh my God, like I hate and like love the post. I'm like, I'm so sorry, I'm just seeing this. Thank you so much for sharing it. Like, but I'm coming from the same place as you. Like we really like the biggest thing for a small business is word of mouth. So like if they're going to be giving me this word of mouth, like I'm going to make sure that they know that I see them, I hear them, and I'm grateful for them for continuing to help boost my business. So
it's something that like Gary Vaynerchuk's he talked about. Ever since like, do you know much about him? Have wine library and stuff.
I've like listened to a few of his like videos that like I scroll across on Facebook, but I haven't like crazy. Yeah, I need to, because I always love what I hear. I just need to like actually deep dive in. And,
well, he has so much content you couldn't listen to it all.
Oh gosh.
And he started in the 90s with wine library.
Wow.
But he talked about like this is like right when the internet like just started off.
Yes.
And he was making videos for his wine library website. But one thing he talked about is anytime anybody commented, he made sure to reply to the comment, like it, reply to the comment. And he said he's been doing that for a long time, and I still see it. I still see it on his posts. He still comments and like replies and like, you see a lot of small businesses are like, well, I just got burnt out, or I just, they maybe had the energy at first and then they lost it. I'm like, that's a fear of mine. Yeah. My fear is that like fire might go away sometime. And so like, I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing, I'm passionate about, and I love it. And like, that's kind of why I'm changing atmospheres, and I'm doing different things. I do the podcast to keep that fire lit. And I don't know, I got a lot of energy. So I don't know if I will run out, but, and I think a lot of people that burn out locally, maybe they weren't really into it the way they said they were into it.
Yeah. And I definitely feel like some things are more so like, I don't want to call them a hobby, but I definitely think that there's a difference. Like even within my own business of like, whenever I first started it, it's always been a legal business. I've always been registered with the state. I've always had all that together. But like the way I posted, the way I ordered my inventory, the way I did things was more so like, oh, like this is a great little like side gig. And now like we're into it. And I'm like, no, I'm like, bring me the analytics, bring me the numbers. Like what's going on in this? It's not just me guessing. It's like actually transitioning from it being more of a hobby to it being a business. And I too am like very, very energetic. And I tell people that all the time. They're like, how are you like in all these places at once? I was like, well, A, I don't sleep, and B, like I'm just a hyper person. Like I have a ton of energy at all times and it really works for me. And like putting on top of it, like the amount of passion that I have for it, like I've honestly just got the perfect mix of the energy, the passion, wanting to help and wanting to just see what I can do and where I can grow. And kind of like I was saying earlier, like I'm starting to like really geek in on like the nerdier part of the business, I guess, like the numbers and all that. And like, there's so much science behind it. And it's funny because science was not my subject in school. I tried so hard, but I just could not understand it. And nowadays it's like, there's these formulas and there's this and there's this. And like, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what can I learn today? What can I do today? And just like, I feel like that's a part of it to like also keep you going, is just making sure you're learning something new every day. Like that's the fun part about entrepreneurship. Don't get set in a schedule.
That's staying out of the comfort zone that you're talking about.
Yes.
It's trying to always learn something new.
Exactly.
Like you never know it all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. 100%. Like I will never, if someone was to like come up to me and be like, hey, like, by the way, have you ever tried this? I'm always open to hearing it. Like, I'm not telling you to tell me how to run my business, but I'm never going to act like I know more than you or know better than you and like shut you down for it. Like everybody knows different little facts and things that I might not know. And I think that's like the coolest thing ever is knowing that there's so much knowledge to still learn and gain. And then also me being able to turn around and like share it with people like through this podcast. And like I had a interview in like a St. Louis magazine and just like fun things like that. So I feel like that also really keeps me going too.
Yeah, well, that's where the energy comes from, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of people that are going to be listening, they're not going to understand. They're going to chop it up to, well, they have this extra energy or they have this extra passion or they have this extra something. No, we've learned to enjoy the uncomfortable situations.
Right.
We've learned to enjoy having to learn new things. Like we enjoy staying out of our comfort zone.
Exactly.
Where a lot of people have learned to just get in their comfort zone, and now they're too comfortable.
Yes.
And they don't even enjoy it anymore.
I know.
And that's like the big thing is to start to learn to understand that you enjoy learning, you enjoy this kind of stuff.
Yes.
And that's where this passion and energy come from. Like that's what motivates people. That's what gives these, like a lot of these podcasts, I'll leave it with energy. I'll be like wired up after it.
It's insane. Oh my gosh. Cause there's so many times, like I would be lying if I said I wake up in the morning, I wake up at 7 a.m. and I'm just instantly up and ready to go. No. First of all, I'm not a morning person. No one's allowed to talk to me for the first hour that I'm awake, or else it's just not fun for anyone. But like, I have to get myself going. I have to either get in the store. I have to get on my to-do list and see what am I going to start to do. And it's not till I start doing it that I feel motivated. But once I do start doing it, I can't stop. I'm so motivated. And another thing that I've learned too is just like, I used to only like sit at my desk or like sit on my couch and like work on my laptop or something like that. But I've also learned like if I get up and like am active in like some way to like get myself going, then I feel much more motivated throughout the day too. So there's just different ways of like learning, and like not every day is going to be a great day. Some days you're literally just going to want to lay on the couch and sleep, and like that's fine. You have to like give yourself those breaks, but don't let it be a setback. Let it be a small little break to recharge yourself and then hit it harder when you come back.
Yeah, and there's an important thing about learning. You got to know, you got to learn that, hey, there's going to be some bad days. And you also got to learn that you just got to power through those bad days too. Right. And then like sometimes you power through and even at the end it still sucks. But you're like, hey, I at least made it. But then sometimes you power through and you're like, okay, all I needed was to get myself going and figure it out. And then that's what pushes you through.
And it's like, it seems like on the days that I do my most uncomfortable things are the days that I end the day feeling the best. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I actually went and did that. I've never done that before. This is all new to me, but like now I know.
Yeah.
And so it's just finding like those weird little things that do motivate you and that do spark you and just putting more of those into your schedule. And I've also heard some more things. So I'm actually part of this group called the Boutique Hub. They're amazing. It's kind of like ongoing education specifically for boutique owners. And I absolutely love it. But the CEO, Ashley Alderson, is like so knowledgeable. Everyone in the group is really. But she always says, like, put your big rocks in first. Of course, that's like a pretty common saying. But then she says, like, look on your to-do list and find things that you can say no to. Like, don't overwhelm yourself. But like, if there's something like small or minor, just say no to it. Like, for example, I used to have to go to the post office every single day and it was fine. Like, of course, that's just part of having an e-commerce business, but now I do porch pickup and it's one thing I said no to. I'm not going to the post office. I'm going to do a porch pickup and it's so much easier. Like, it's the most minor thing, but it takes so much off my plate. Oh, it's the best thing ever. I love USPS for it. You literally, so like you just schedule it online. Like, I'll be like, I have like X amount of priority packages, X amount of first class going out tomorrow. This is the estimated weight. And then I put them on my porch, and when they drop off my mail, they come up and pick up all my packages and take them out. So I never have to go to the post office. It's like the best thing ever. Oh my gosh, I love them for it.
Yeah.
I love them for it.
That's got to just smooth your whole life
out. It's so nice because, I mean, I don't even live far from the post office. I have one 10 minutes away and one like 5 minutes away, but it's just physically getting in my car, driving there, loading all the packages in, letting them scan them. Like, it's just so much easier to just throw them out on the porch. I can go along with my day and it's done. And like, I know it. And I also try to make sure that like I let people know I appreciate them. Like, I really don't get to talk to my delivery drivers much anymore because I'm like never home. But like, whenever I did, like, I made a joke, like, because I was like opening the Chesterfield store. I was like, yeah, I'm really sorry. Like, you know, we're going to have kind of an inflow of packages coming. Like, I'm opening another store. And then he got to ask me about my store. And now, like, I know, like, whenever I see him, I smile at him. Or like, if I am there when he's coming to pick up my packages, I run him down to him. Like, just anything I can do to help and like let them know, like, I understand like this is your industry and your job too, but like I appreciate you for doing it. And like during the holiday seasons, I put out like snacks and drinks for all my delivery drivers because let's be real, they're working overtime. I mean, year round really, but holiday season it really peaks up. So just like letting people know too that like you do appreciate them. Like you do understand that like while it's their job, they're still doing you a favor. Like that's still one thing that I don't have to do. So I just feel like it costs $0 to be kind. It costs $0 to smile at someone and just
that's a Gary
be a
Vaynerchuk
happy
quote
person.
Right there,
yeah,
sure.
just be nice. Like there's so many people.
Where'd you learn all that? Is that just natural?
Yeah, I'm just kind of spitting it out.
Just natural.
Yeah.
Well, see, like I don't know if I was like I think I always had like natural things like that in me, but it was like learning to like just change some things and like learning to change my perspective on a lot of stuff. And
see, and I
feel like I'm the same way too.
Yeah, I've always been like a happy person, but I also feel like just seeing like the differences that I can make and also seeing some like not so happy people, I'll be like, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person. And I say
I think
all
that's where
the
it
time,
came from for me a lot too.
Yeah, and I say all the time, I'm like, I never want to be the person that someone goes home at the end of the day and they're like, I was having a great day till I talked to Grace. Like, I never want to be that person. I want someone to be like, oh, like I was having a bad day, but then Grace came along and I was having a great day. Like, you know, like I just want to be the light for someone. Like, I just want to be happy for people. And I just want people to.
That's why I have this hat with the smiley face on
honestly,
it.
I have
That's why I made my koozie cups with a smiley face on it too.
They're the best.
It just like spreads joy and happiness. And I couldn't tell you how many times. Like I some people like they hate that like my look friends and stuff. They're like they call it silly. I'm like whatever. I don't care.
No, it works.
I've been out so many times just walking and someone says something about my hat and they say like I love your hat. It makes me smile. And I'm like, that's why I wear it.
Exactly.
That's exactly why I wear it.
I also, this is totally off topic, but every once in a while, like, especially like whenever I'm like walking through the mall or Walmart or something, I do like my own little like study, quote unquote, not really because I don't like take data or anything, but I'll just like smile at someone. And I swear I get like, if I smile at 10 people, I get maybe 2 people that crack a smile back. Everyone else looks away really quick and like looks down. It's not like I'm like cheesing big. I'll just like a little grin, like a hi, like I'm friendly, and they just look down and walk away. So I'm just like, okay, like I want to be in with the 2% that is smiling back.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think some of it could just be uncomfortable too.
True.
Like they don't even know how to handle the situation.
I'm a very like not shy kind of girl, so that could definitely be it.
There's a lot of like introverts and just shy people. So they're probably like they're probably not even used to this situation. They're probably not used to someone doing this.
Yes.
So they might just. You know, they
not know how to react, which is fine. Like I said, I know I'm a very loud person, so it's good. It's
okay,
good.
so I was telling you about like that guy that made the bad review. You ever had any bad reviews like that?
Yeah. So actually,
And how do you handle it? What do you do?
Well, I let myself get down for about 5 minutes, and then I just find the most professional way to handle it. That's one thing I've had to learn, how normal Grace would handle things and how professional Grace needs to handle things. And I'm really leaning towards professional at all times now. But I had one lady that left a comment on one of my, like, you can do product reviews. And I mean, like, the product was sold out anyway, so like no one could actually see it, but like it just stung for me. But she left a review and said that she never received her package and was never shipping or shopping with us again. And I'm like, I have never not shipped a package ever. I have tracking for the package. I have the date showing it was delivered. So like in my heart, I know, but I hate that she was trying to bring my business down and make me look like a fraud when like, I mean, she got the hoodie on sale. It was like $7. So I'm like, why over $7 are you freaking out like this? But like I said, I have my tracking. I know like my T's are crossed, my I's are dotted, but it does hurt and it stings. And sometimes like you hear through the grapevine, like what certain people like say about you. And I've learned to just brush it off because like, I'm like, it's not true.
Their opinions.
Yeah. I'm like, they're not in my day-to-day life. I don't even talk to them. So how would they know?
Yeah.
But
that kind of stuff happens, you just gotta.
It does.
Their opinion doesn't. And it's perfectly fine. They can think whatever they want. It doesn't matter.
And I try to put a positive twist on it. I'm like, clearly, I'm doing enough to have the haters. Like, if I didn't have the haters, like, it's not a true business unless you have the haters. So clearly, I'm doing enough to have the people hating on me.
She was probably just having a bad day.
I was thinking so.
Probably if she for sure got the hoodie.
Yeah.
She's probably just trying to lie, try to get her money
back.
Get a
refund. It's what people do. People do it all the time. And you also have to be sure for, which I never realized, but like the fraudulent orders, like of course it's something, but like you never realize it till you get it. But like there's certain people that like, honestly, it's just kind of like a thing in the industry. Like, like these certain addresses and like cities to like watch out for. And people will order for you, you'll ship it all out, and then immediately they're filing a chargeback. And unfortunately, a lot of times chargebacks favor in the customer. Luckily, I have never had one because I know to like cancel those orders immediately. But it's just like little things like that you're like, it takes just as much time for you to be going through all this hassle to try and hurt my small business than to just do your own thing. Like, just leave me be. Let me do my thing. So there's a lot of things that I've learned that you just got to get through. Just don't let it phase you. Like I said, it takes a lot to phase me nowadays. It takes a lot.
Well, that comes through doing business.
Yes.
Like that's just
it's
part
so
of it.
true. It's so true.
Well, yeah. But I mean, little stuff like that.
Yeah.
The bad reviews and stuff. That's just going to happen.
It
right?
is.
Like just.
You just got to laugh
and like you said, try to find a positive spin on it. Like, like me with mine, I try to turn it into like a TikTok concept.
Yes.
Like that's big for me because I think there's gonna be a day whatever I want to start an e-commerce business. And so that's why I do a lot of this this podcast in my TikToks and stuff like that.
Learning it all.
Yeah, and learn it and then try to gather some type of like community around me, and then maybe I think that can help grow my e-commerce business when it comes down to it.
100%. But yeah, another thing too that always keeps me going is I have people always laugh, but I call her my boutique bestie. So I have a girl, she's like my age, and she owns actually a Western boutique in Texas. And I'm telling you, like the amount that we talk throughout a day, and we don't even text, we just voice memo all back and forth. Like anytime someone does make me mad, I'm like, girl, just wait till you hear what just happened to me. I can vent to her and she gets it, she understands it because she's living it too. So I feel like that's definitely an outlet. Because I mean, my family's amazing. I have the best support system ever, but like they're not in the business every single day. Like they're doing their own thing. So I can't expect them to fully understand like when something does happen. So having her there to be like, just listen to this, or whenever like our wins, our losses, like we celebrate them all together. We pick each other back up, and it honestly helps so much. So like one thing that I would say is find someone in your industry. Don't look at it don't look at it as competition. Look at it as a community. Like there's enough room for all of us. The biggest saying I hear is like, walk down the bread aisle at the supermarket. How many different brands are there? But they're all still there because there's room for everyone. So I never like look at people as my competition. I look at them as like, how can like we help each other, or how can we like vibe together or work next to each other? Like even like at the mall or in Rosebud, like if anyone can't find something in my store, or like I know they're looking for something specific, I have absolutely no issue being like, hey, these are the other stores in town, maybe go check them out. Or like, hey, they might have what you're looking for, I'm not sure, but go give them a try. Like it's not hurting me at all. If anything, it's making like, it's them remembering me, like, wow, I didn't buy from her, but she helped me. So then like it's thinking of that long term too. I just feel like there's no reason to shut anybody down. Like that's my biggest thing is like, I will never talk bad about another business because A, I have no clue what they're going through. B, there's no reason. Like I just don't feel like it needs to happen.
Well, competition's good.
Yeah.
For one,
Yeah.
and then for two, if you're putting in the work, if you're putting in as much work as
Right.
possible, and you're doing everything that you possibly can to make your business the best that you can, it shouldn't scare you at all.
No.
And because at the end of the day, if you do fail, at least you've done everything.
Yes.
Like you've tried everything you can. And when you're doing everything you can, you don't have those negative thoughts in your head like, damn, maybe I should have done this or maybe I should have done that.
Yeah.
And that's something that I just recently realized in my business was that I wasn't advertising enough. Like I believe in everyday advertising.
Yes.
Like I believe that you got to advertise every day of the week. I feel like now, and that's just something because of this podcast. Somebody had on the podcast, Dan Breeden actually.
Yeah.
We talked about the importance of social media and how like if you have a business now, we think I think that it's a field that is just required to compete in.
Yes.
And I asked him, I'm like, what do you think do you post once a week, once a month, every day? And he's like 5 times a day. And he's like, I think you got to post every single day to stay in that algorithm.
Yes.
Just always be popping up on people's feed.
Yeah.
And then I realized I was like, I wasn't posting enough. I ain't getting out there enough. And it's probably gonna annoy some people, and those people will just unfollow.
Yeah.
But the ones that want to see it, it's there for it. Yeah, and they're gonna love it. And at the end of the day, when someone wants to come to your page and they want to find something, you have the content there. You have the material there for them. But if you only post once a month, it looks like your business is dead.
I know. I agree. And it's actually funny that you mentioned that. So like, I don't know, it's probably a year ago at this point, but I actually had to go back to Joplin. I went to college at Missouri Southern and I taught at a dance, or I didn't teach at a dance studio. I was in the office area of a dance studio whenever I was in college. And one of the girls from the studio reached out and asked me to come like talk over social media at it was like a high school, was it FBLA or something like that? And I just light up about it. Like I love social media so much and I just love the opportunity. Like there are millions and billions of people on social and you can reach all of them. Like there's no limits to who you can reach. Yeah. So just learning to like play the field basically and figure out what do your people want to see is like the biggest thing ever, because like that can seriously help you grow so much, especially TikTok. You can be like, you can have a struggling business one day and wake up and be like, 6-figure company because of TikTok. Like there's just amazing things. And I'm a big about hopping on the trends, following it, watching it, but like still putting your own twist. Like I never say to like copy anyone or like just do what others are doing, but do follow the trends and put your own twist on it. So that way people remember you for it. And they know like, oh, like, hey, I saw this on there and it was this boutique and I'm going to go follow them. Like I've had people come into my store multiple times and be like, I found you on TikTok. And I'm like, first of all, a little embarrassed because I'm like, oh my God, they saw my videos. Yeah. But then I'm like, okay, that's really nice. Like that's actually so cool that they're coming in here because of TikTok. So I too am a big social media advocate. I absolutely love it. And I feel like it's also a generational thing. Yeah. But like at the same time,
it's just part of the world we're in now.
You have to be willing to pivot even if it's not your thing. You have to be willing to figure it out.
If there's 2 boutiques and one has a social media page and the other one doesn't, the one with the social media page that's active, it's probably going to do a little better.
Yeah.
Like I think that's how it's going to be.
100%.
Because that's where the advertising's coming from now. Nobody's reading the paper.
No.
I mean, maybe some billboards or like some other random advertisements, but social media.
That's it.
Is where it's at.
Because people scroll, and I can't even tell you the amount of times, like even like myself, like I'll have one picture that just like barely piques my interest, and then I'm stalking their page, and I'm stalking their page for like 30 minutes to an hour for like no reason at all other than I saw that one picture, and then I keep thinking about them. So it's just crazy. Like this, there's psychology behind it, there's a science behind it, but it's also needs to be fun. Yeah. That's like a big thing.
I had trouble like coming up with content, and I still have a little bit of trouble. Like TikTok especially, it's hard to come up with stuff. Yeah. But like for my fitness parlor page, it's getting easier and easier. Yeah. And I really do enjoy it. It's fun. It's fun coming up with different ideas. And now I got a bunch of ideas that I'm like, I'm going to try this out and try this out and try this out. Yeah. And I had like Dan, he reached out to me and he wanted to do like a video. It was all his idea because he does content every day. And so I went to his place and he had this like whole thing like choreographed in his head. He's like, we could do this and let's go to your business and I can do this. And we stayed up. It was like, I think 11:30 at night before we finally got done because we were just talking business and we were just hanging out, having fun.
All of it.
But we were building content too. And so I enjoy it. It's like the creative side
It's
of
fun.
me being able to actually get out there and express
It's
myself
so
a
much
little bit.
fun. I love it. I really do. And I mean, I will say like social media is like the one thing that like keeps me up at night because I'm always like, oh, like this post didn't perform as well as I thought it was going to. Like, why not? But then I also remind myself, I'm like, it's just one post. Like you have multiple more coming up. Like it's not the end of the world. But I do really like to have fun with it, and I love to just try new things and like see what works. It's so crazy, like what grabs people's attention and what doesn't.
The videos really grab attention.
Videos are insane right now.
Videos are where it's at.
It is.
I think it's like my intro video to my gym was a video.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just a picture that from clip art that I stole from Google and put it up there.
Exactly.
And that's where I think a lot of people are starting to fail is they don't. They're not like because it's being connected with your community.
Right. I agree 100%.
With everybody that's following your business. Like if they don't even get to see your face, they don't get to see this video of you. Like it just makes like a disconnection from it.
Yes. So. And that's like my biggest thing too is like I right now am like the face of my brand, and like even as we do grow and like I may not so much be able to continue to be the only model, like I still want to be heavily involved. Like I still want people to know like who's the owner, like who's the one behind this, because that's all part of the small business. Like for example, our Facebook lives every single Wednesday for 2 years now, we've been going live at 7:00 showing off new arrivals, but like we just figure ways to make them different. Like we've started doing trivia. So like as I'm changing, like I'll have my boyfriend Sean hop on and he'll play trivia with them and then like give away free store credit. And it's just like fun things. I make jokes all the time. I'm like, he just loves being a boutique boyfriend. He just loves it so much. Like all the things I force him to do, but he really does good with it. And like people know that now, like on Wednesdays, they know Grace and Sean are going to be live. Like they know they're going to see new things. They know that they're going to play trivia and get that free store credit. And it's an every single Wednesday thing. So I feel like consistency is also definitely key. Like don't confuse your customers. Don't make it more difficult than it needs to be. Like every single morning on my app, like this is more recent that I've been doing it only like a few weeks, but like I send out like a positive message. Like I'll just be like, hey, like reminder, like don't look at the whole staircase, just look at the step ahead of you, or just like something to like get them on the right track. Like, are we a motivational company? Not necessarily, but like if it can put a smile on their face, I'd much rather do that. So just finding ways to switch up your content, but also keep it related to you and your niche is like key. And then another thing that I also try to practice is like the 80-20 rule, where you're only selling 20% of the time. The other 80% is like either education or engagement or something that's not necessarily selling them. So like I would still post my clothes, but I'd be like, hey, here's 3 ways to style this top, instead of me saying this top just came in and it's $36.99. So I'm really having to learn that too, and like getting creative in those different ways to talk about the clothes. Like
Where'd you
I
learn
can
the
talk about
80-20
clothes all
rule
day.
at for?
The Boutique Hub.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a great idea.
It's a really good one. I mean, it definitely does help because like you don't want to be screaming in your customer's face all the time, buy, buy, buy. You want to be educating them and showing them why to buy without telling them to buy from you.
Yeah.
So it's,
I think,
it's a big one.
Trying to apply that into my life too. I think about, because I don't want to just post products for sale.
Exactly.
I don't know, that's kind of just plain.
Yeah.
Like it's just not that exciting.
You got to have the fun stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, it definitely does take time where you literally have to sit there and like plan out what's going to happen when, but I feel like in the end it's worth it. For sure.
Do you have your own social media page, or do you do everything off of Glamour and Grace?
I have my own too. I don't post to mine as much as I should, honestly, because I spent all my time posting to the Glamour and Grace one, but I would like to kind of get both more like up and going, just because I love social media. Like I love the relationships. So many people that like I talk to through social media, I've never met in person. Sounds crazy. Like I know they're real people, but like just like the friendships that I've built through there are like amazing. So I really love social media.
Yeah, I definitely think you should have your own, because
kind of like a personal brand versus a business brand.
The people that love Glamour and Grace,
yes,
they might just love Grace too, and they might just want to follow Grace and follow the stuff that what Grace is doing in her life. And so like, you're so young that you might branch off who knows where, but they might want to follow you through all these journeys and all this stuff. So I think that's really important.
Yeah. No, and I always say all the time, like I always make jokes because I've asked people before, like on my personal pages, I'm like, do you guys want to see more of like what I do in like the day-to-day business things? Because I literally like my schedule is basically like 9 a.m. at the latest to like anywhere between 2 and 4 a.m. Like it's an all day thing. And I do so many different things throughout the day from like so many different viewpoints. And I've asked, like, do y'all want to see what I do? And everyone always says yes. And then I just get so in the groove of things and I always forget to post. So maybe today, maybe you're motivating me. I'll actually start posting what I'm doing.
Yeah, I think so. I watch a guy, I've never bought any of his products. He sells this is all for the fitness industry, but he started a non-dairy product protein.
Oh.
So it's like a fruity flavored style protein. So he has blue raspberry and mango.
Yeah.
And he's out of Minnesota. And I called him on TikTok. And I just really liked the way he did it. And he's like really, really, and it's just his own private profile, but he talks about like the things they do in their office and the way they ship stuff. And when orders are coming in, he'll even make videos of like when a product comes in, like say a customer orders a product. Yeah. He'll be like, oh, Jeff, whoever ordered this product, and he shows like, he's like, you got this, this, and this, and he shows you shipping up. He'll throw in a free, like something like a free shaker or something for him and send it out to him. Yeah. So I don't know why. I really enjoy watching it.
Honestly, it's like the tedious stuff like that gets my attention too. Like I literally will watch so many people's morning routines as I'm laying on my couch with my hair a mess, having no morning routine whatsoever, but it motivates me. And then it honestly like motivates me to do stuff with the business too. So it's that weird stuff like that sparks my interest, but I need to get a lot better about that. Today's the day. I'm calling it.
Yeah. Just start one. And then like, I don't do it every day, but I try to do.
Well, I mean, like I literally do so many different things throughout the day. Like I could definitely have the content there, but then I'm just like, is this boring? Like, am I thinking this is cool? No one else thinks it's cool? Or
well, that's what Gary Vaynerchuk talks about. He's like, make content for yourself. Yeah. And then don't worry about anything else.
I like that.
And when I had, Caitlin Mace, right?
Yes.
So I had Caitlin Mace on, and we were talking about it after the podcast. Like she's like, I love your TikToks because I share a lot of stuff about just my personal life. Like, just not just with the gym, like with my rentals and other businesses I'm trying to get into. And she's like, I love it because I can really relate to it. Yeah. And a lot of the content I make for myself, but I'm like, I don't know if people are actually liking it. And she's like, no, Ryan, just keep making the content that you like. Like, make it for yourself. And then the people that also can relate to it, that's the community you're going to pull in. Yeah. And so that's what I need like that reality check sometimes because
I feel like I did too.
Sometimes you get like just involved in stuff and you forget.
No, that's honestly so true. And then I also feel like it's part of just like finding your people. Like maybe the people that are following you now aren't the people that want to follow you. So I definitely feel like that's good advice. I need to take that. I need to make a note.
Yeah, you need to watch more Gary Vaynerchuk.
I really do. Maybe I will on my way home. Maybe I'll like pause the crime junkie and listen to him instead.
Definitely a good idea.
Because
he's got short clips, but he also has long clips. And like he has, I mean, he's just smart. He's growing a lot of business and I don't know, like this Robert Kiyosaki guy, I was really big on him. He's only got 100 million net worth, and Gary Vaynerchuk has 165 million. Oh, wow. So it's like, who do you really follow? Like who's the one that's knows what they're doing? So
No, I also am so bad about like when I work, I cannot sit in silence. I absolutely cannot. It just drives me crazy because then I hear like water drip or I hear like a car drive past and then I'm like, oh, what car was that? And like I'm out of it. So I have to have either like TV or a podcast or something going in the background. And like I barely even listen to it, but then it's like so weird because like I don't feel like I'm listening to it, but then like I'll end it and I'm like, wait, where did I learn that from? And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was from that podcast that I didn't even think I was really listening to. So I do like that kind of stuff. I'll have to add them to my list. Yeah. Because I go through stuff quick.
Now, do you think that's like, you don't think it's like an ADHD thing, do you?
Possibly. I'm not like diagnosed with ADHD, but have I had people tell me that they think I have it? Yes. So
I'm the exact same way. But
honestly,
is it high on life or is it an ADHD?
Exactly.
That's what I would say. I'm like, I'm just high on life right now.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say, there are times like I'll do things and I'll sit back and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what is wrong? Like, why can I not just sit here? Like, like the second I sit down, I'm right back up, like just literally doing anything. Like, it's so weird. And like, I'll just get like so much energy built up. Like I physically have to put my work down and like go for a walk outside or like do laundry or something because like I just cannot sit there any longer. So no, it could definitely be an ADHD thing.
What do you do to de-stress? Or just like de-wind the mind? Like, how do you turn the mind off at the end of the night? Like, how do you, what do you do in your life to be able to get there? Because everybody has stress and I'm not saying you have it every day, but there's some times in life, like I use the gym. That's where the gym was really important for me. It helped calm me down.
So typically there's like a few different ways for me. I'm like really big though and like not letting myself relax or which is probably like very toxic, honestly, but like I don't let myself relax or unwind until my to-do list is done. So like usually, like I said, it's pretty late. So I'll turn on like The Office or like just a funny TV show that's like not educational anyway. It's just for me and then fall asleep to it. That's like the only way. Like that's like the only time I actually like watch TV is for like 5 minutes until I fall asleep.
Yeah.
But or
so
like I'll
you watch
scroll through
something
TikTok.
that like just just clears the head. It doesn't take a lot of thought process.
Exactly. Like I said, it's typically The Office just because I'm absolutely obsessed with that show.
Yep.
Michael Scott is thebomb.com. But
Who doesn't like The Office?
Like, right?
That's like, it's,
so many people that I talk to say that they like Friends. And I feel like I'm learning you're either an Office person or a Friends person.
Yep.
And I'm hardcore Office. Like the Friends is fine, but like, come on, it does not compare to The Office. Michael Scott is just literally my spirit animal.
That's when
He's
you ask
hilarious.
him, have you watched The Office?
I know. I'm like, are we talking about the same Office? Like, there's no way you don't like that show.
Right.
It is so funny.
Well, a lot of people, they don't make it past like the first 5 episodes.
Oh my God.
Because the first season is, sorry, it's pretty cringe.
It is.
It's pretty cringe.
I was talking to someone the other day and I was like, no, you have to like watch it. And he was like, oh, well, I will. But he was like, by the way, though, I hate awkward humor. And I was like, don't watch it. I was like, maybe this show's not for you.
It seems like awkward, dry humor at first.
But like it's
once you get to know the people in the show, and like understand each person's individual humor and characteristics,
it's hilarious.
That's when you start to like really enjoy it.
Exactly. But I will say after, I don't want to like spoil it for anyone that like hasn't watched it, but like after
if
Michael
you haven't finished The Office by now,
that's a you thing.
Then screw you. There's been plenty of time.
Yes, I watched it probably 6 times. But after Michael leaves, I stopped watching it. Like, don't get me wrong, like it's still funny, but I think he is the one that like literally cracks me up. So I just can't watch it past then. I'm
the same way. I've never finished it. I've never watched it. I made it all the way. I made it all the way to the very last episode, and it got just too sad for me. And I'm like, I can't. I won't. There's a lot of times that I'll be watching a show, and if I know like the main character is gonna die, or like the part that makes it from a happy show to a sad show, and I can see that coming, I'll just quit watching it.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. I do the exact same thing. Like Grey's Anatomy is another one. Every time I think a character is going to die, I have to turn it off. Or I'll literally sit there and bawl like a baby for no reason. I'm like, this doesn't even affect me. Why am I crying right now? But I do the exact same thing. Like I think
that's just that always positive mindset.
It might be.
You know, like you were talking about, just like surrounding yourself with happy people.
Yes.
Like, what I've learned is that I always want to be happy, and so I'm always like striving to like get happy people around me and stay happy. And so I've had to cut a lot of people out of my life that were just mud, like they just had bad attitudes, and I still got nothing but love for them. Yeah, but I had to take them out of my life because I was focused on just growing, making sure I'm staying happy and making sure I'm always in positive atmospheres.
Yes,
and that's why I like those happy, positive shows.
I do too.
Whenever they go to that bad point, I'm just like, not
can't do this anymore. Can't do it. No, I'm the exact same way. I also really love to watch like influencers and stuff on like Instagram and all of that. Like I will deep dive into them. It's just insane. The things that motivate me and the things that I'm like here for. It's the craziest
Who's your
thing.
favorite influencer?
Tori Gerbig, for sure.
Tori Gerbig.
She actually owns Pink Lily Boutique, which is like a huge boutique. It's very, very successful. And she's just like so sweet. Like I feel like she's just very like humble for what she's built. Like they're on like Fortune 500 all the time. She's like always on like the top. Well, I don't think she's under 30 anymore, but I'm pretty sure she's like on the Forbes like top 30 under 30 list, like all that kind of stuff. And she's just like so humble about it. Yeah. And like she shares business tips, and I just like, she's one I will just binge her stuff all day long.
Where's she from?
I think Kentucky. Bowling Green, Kentucky, maybe.
Is she just Instagram? She's
TikTok, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest. She is all over. If you look up Tori Gerbig, you'll find her. Facebook. She's amazing. She's a smart lady.
Yeah. Well, that's good. It's good you have somebody like that. I think that's what helps push you into those directions. It's almost like having a mentor.
Exactly.
Without actually being able to have. That's the cool thing about the internet nowadays is, like back in the day before the internet, if you wanted to have a mentor that could help grow you, you had to go find it. You had to have someone local or something like that you get. But now, like I don't have like I look for mentors. I can't find anyone that's going in the direction I want to go in life. And I'm trying. That's why that's the mission I'm on right now, is find a mentor. But I have lots of podcasts, lots of like influencers that I watch, and I'm like, these guys know what they're doing. And the cool thing about these people that are super successful, not all of them, but a lot of them, are sharing their knowledge.
Yes.
They're not scared to tell it because they're putting in the work. I get so many people that I invite on this podcast that they either tell me they're too busy or they don't want to come on. And I think a big part of it is they think that they're going to give out some of this knowledge and people are going to take it and then they're going to lose their business.
See, that's like one of my biggest things. I'm like, just because you share your knowledge with people, like not only are you helping that person, but like no one can carry it out like you do. Like you are you for a reason. There's only one of you. Like no one can carry it out like you. So even if like for me, like me and you, for example, even if we're both posting on social media X amount of times a day and we're talking about our strategies, that doesn't mean that your business is going to hurt mine or vice versa. Even if we were both in the same industry, like we all have like our different people. So I don't think sharing knowledge is ever bad. Sometimes I even overshare knowledge. So like I'm an open book. I don't think it's bad. Like I put in the time and stuff to learn and figure things out for myself, but that doesn't mean like I'm going to tell someone else like, well, you need to sit down and learn and figure it out for yourself. Like that's just me. I'm just like a very like do it yourself kind of person. So, but not everybody is, and that's fine. I don't think it's bad to share knowledge.
A lot of people don't even have the want or the ambition to even do it. Like this entrepreneurial lifestyle is not for very many people.
It's not for the weak.
And so some people might dabble into it a little bit, but most people, they chicken out or just realize like, hey, I don't want that. I don't want that kind of lifestyle.
Exactly.
And so it's like, I don't know why people are like that.
I mean, you got to be willing to make sacrifices for sure. Like a lot of sacrifices, but just look at the things that you can build. Like, I think that's another thing too, that gets people confused in entrepreneurship is you can be working hard for 5 years and see absolutely no return. And then on year 6, everything blows up and you have the business that you've always wanted. But like, you can't be looking at the tomorrow. You have to be looking at the 5 years from now. Like you have to always be thinking long term. Like I had someone ask me one time, they were like, well, are you okay with like working every weekend? And I'm like, first of all, I work every day. So like, weekends, I don't have weekends anymore. But I'm like, because that's not going to be my life all year or like my whole entire life. Like I always joke, like not that I'll ever like calm down when I'm in my 30s, but I'm like hustle in your 20s, vacation in your 30s, like, you know, just joking. But it's true. Like you just have to be willing to put in the time and effort now for the long run. You're not going to get that payoff tomorrow, maybe not even next year, but like always have your goals up on the wall. Like that's a big thing for me is I love like vision boards and stuff. And it's really cool because like, actually, I don't know if my phone screen is it anymore, but like I had stuff on my vision board and one of them was a second storefront. And I didn't even realize that I had it on there. I saw every single day though, without actually realizing. And then I got a second storefront. And it's just like, it just motivates you. Like it keeps you wanting to work towards that without you actually knowing that you're still working towards that. So I'm just like really big, like posting your goals and being open about them and also getting very clear on your vision and your direction that you want to go in, because if you're just guessing, like you're never going to end up where you want to go because you don't even know where you want to go or what you need to work towards.
That's why I have this banner, like chase your dreams, hard work beats talent.
I love it.
I have stuff like that on my phone background. I have like business ideas and like goals that I want on my window upstairs in my kitchen. I have sticky notes and it's just like, those are things that I've learned too, that like really help me manifest my goals and go after them. And so,
oh my gosh.
I think like me, it's a slow process. There was a little bit of fear and stuff that held me back in the beginning. And the more I learn, the more confident I get. And so, I'm always ready.
Same.
I always got a new goal. I'm always ready to it. And,
I do
it's
too.
like the goal crushing thing is fun.
Yes.
Like that's
oh my gosh.
Like my favorite thing.
I was talking to Sean yesterday about like holiday season and stuff coming up and like what I think I'm going to make my goals and everything. And I like mentioned like one goal that I had and he was like, what would you do if you actually hit that? And I was like, probably throw up or cry. One of the two. I was like, the second I hit it, like it's probably going to be just drama scene. Like I'm not going to know how to act because it's just crazy too. Like the amount, like while growth takes time, also the amount of growth that you can do in 1 year is insane.
If
like
you put in the work.
We are absolutely nowhere near right now where we were last year at this time. Like it's just crazy. And it's like, you never know though. Like this time last year, I had no clue that I'd have 6 employees, 2 stores, be working towards like a 3rd pop-up in another mall that could potentially, you never know. Like it's just crazy. But I've also learned to not say no. Like, well, I should rephrase that. Say no when needed, but if someone comes at you with an opportunity, even if it freaks you out, be open and willing to listen and hear them out because you never know what it could turn into.
Those ones that freak you out are probably the ones you get.
Honestly,
anyway.
yes.
That's what I've learned.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, if it's a scary goal, I probably need to do it.
Exactly. And it's like the one saying, all these sayings are like so cliche, but it's like if your goals don't scare you, they're not big enough. And it's true. Like you have to be uncomfortable to continue to grow because that's another thing too, like with my schedule daily, like I never do the same things. I have like the same like general overview of like what I know happens when, But like some Mondays I'm in the store all day, some Mondays I'm home all day, some Mondays I'm half, or I'm running around or doing this. But like, that's the thing about like entrepreneurship is A, you get to set your schedule, but B, it lets you not get comfortable in a routine. It always keeps me guessing. I always like don't know what's coming up next week, what's happening then. And it just helps me, I think, to then be able to allow myself to be more uncomfortable because I'm not setting that schedule. Anywho, so I'm like never comfortable anyways.
Yeah, no, that's like one of my favorite things about being like self-employed is that I have the freedom. If I want to take my morning off, I can take my morning off and then work till midnight if I want to work till midnight. Like I'm not setting this schedule.
Exactly.
I work the best under my own pace.
I do too.
Like if I want to hit it hard and just keep on going, I can do that. But if I don't feel like it that day, I can rest and then I can
do it later. Yeah. See, my issue is like if I get up early, like 6 or 7, start working in the morning, my morning will be so productive. But if I don't get up till like 8 or 9, I cannot get myself to be productive until like 7 p.m. It's like the worst thing. And then I'll work like 7 to 4. So it's fine. Like I still get my work done, but I just like, it's weird. It's weird. Like I have to like get myself motivated either super early or like I'll still do work and like work during the day, but just like my best work happens late at night. It's the weirdest thing. Like, and I feel so bad like messaging people or emailing them. I'm like, I know it's 2 a.m., but hear me out. Like just answer this in the morning. I have to send it now or it's never going to get sent. So I've definitely like learned my own schedule, my own like routine, but I still switch it up very often. But
that's nice. Where I found like the gyms really helped me.
Yeah.
Like I get up, I go work out in the morning, and like it's what like gets my blood flowing.
Yes.
It's what gets me focused in.
Yes.
If not, I have all this extra energy. That's kind of just like my brain's going sporadic, and so the gym really helps me focus in.
Yes.
And just get it on. Like if I wait and work out late at night, my days aren't as productive.
I'm sure. See, I wish I was a more active person. I am trained. I can't even say this with a straight face. I'm like quote unquote training for a 5K to do with like one of my best friends, but I never run in the morning. It's always like late at night and then it's like hot and I just hate it. And I'm like so bad while I'm running, but then I feel really motivated for like after I get done with it. Like I hate it while it's happening, but then after I'm done, I'm like ready to go. So I really should do it in the morning because it really does wake me up and get me going. And
it gets you out of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
It's one of those things that get you out of your comfort zone. It does.
Well, I was like literally talking to her and I was like, I literally forgot like how to run the other day. I was like trying to like hype myself up and I was like, do I literally just take off running? I was like, is that how people do it? I was like, how does this work? I was like, do I just move my legs faster? Like, what?
Were you out running outside?
I was out running in my neighborhood. So like everyone can see me. And like, she was like, see, I feel like I look so bad while I'm running. I'm like, no, I feel the opposite. I was like, see, I feel like I look so good, like natural running, but I know that's not the case from the outsiders. I know I look so just
I don't think anybody gives
sweaty,
a damn.
But
oh my God.
Anybody
gives a damn. Nobody's paying attention.
It's bad. And then like I go up these hills and I'm trying to like talk to her on FaceTime. It's bad. I'm not a runner, but I'm going to do a 5K. So
running sucks. It's tough.
Yeah.
Why not go to the gym? Just because it's free to run outside?
Well, that, and it's a lot easier for me to like get home, throw my hair up, and then just like run in my neighborhood, not have to drive anywhere. I'm all big on like not having to drive anywhere. Like I shop online for everything. I do grocery pickup. If I can get my groceries delivered, I do that.
Sure. It saves you a lot of time.
It does.
Gives you more time to do other stuff.
Exactly.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Just running outside, on nice days, it's
hot.
nice.
Yeah.
But like you said, you got hills, you got all this other stuff to do. In a gym, it's climate control. You got treadmills that have shocks built into them. They're not like, especially for me, I'm almost 210 pounds. Like it's a lot of weight, like slamming down. So unless I have some good running shoes or like a good running place,
You're ready.
It can beat you up. It can really beat you up. So like that's why. And it's just, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I own a gym, so it's a lot different. But,
True.
But I don't know. I wish, like around here, we don't really have any place to go run. Like there's nowhere nice.
Yeah.
But like I wish there was like a local track or something you just
It would be nice. It would be nice. Like I said, I just do my subdivision, but then it's like that awkward, like his car comes, I'm like, do I stop running? Do I go through someone's grass? Like, what do I do? And then you have like the dogs that like run alongside you and you're like trying to nonchalantly run from them. You're like laughing, but you're actually like terrified on the inside. So, I mean, it keeps me on my toes though. It's the being uncomfortable keeps me on my toes.
Sure.
But,
do you listen to music when you do it?
Music or podcast, or I FaceTime people, which is probably like the worst thing to do.
A FaceTime?
It's bad. It's like an out of breath, like, did you hear what I did? So it's not good.
Yeah.
Well, that's like my last resort.
Podcasts are what helps me, like, just get my mind off of off
Yeah,
of running because I
exactly.
hate it. So I'm just sitting there the whole time I'm running like this sucks.
Yes. And actually, speaking of Gary
Vaynerchuk?
Yep. I think he actually does one of the podcasts that I like that's called How I Built This. Have you heard of that?
I have heard of it, but I've never.
Is it by him?
It
Might be. If it's not, I'm sorry for the false
Where's your
info.
phone at? Can you look it up?
Let me see.
Because he has a
love it.
podcast, but I don't think that's. I've heard of that before.
It might not be. Let me see.
Yeah, How I Built This. I doubt it. I feel like I would know.
It might. A lot of times, like people, like I'll say something and people will be like, "Oh, is that serious? Like for real?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I don't know." I'm like, I might have made it up. I can't tell.
Well, like podcasts especially, you just start finding random podcasts and then you start listening to them and you start getting into them.
Yes.
And if you don't know who it is, like it's just,
it's
easy for that to happen,
clue.
I feel like. Because there's so many podcasts out there. That's what I tell everyone.
There's a ton.
Podcasts are such a big thing that some kid from a town of 400 people decided to start a podcast.
I know.
So it's like podcasts are really starting to blow up nowadays.
And I feel like too, like I just like listening to people talk. Like I'm such a talker. I love to listen to people talk. So I
like
feel
the
like
raw
that helps.
conversation from it.
Yeah.
Because like I don't like interviews. I don't like the scripted stuff. It doesn't feel real.
I know.
But whenever you sit down and have a conversation where you guys just get a chat, I think
so
that's
much
the best thing.
That's when you get the best info. I don't know why my phone won't load.
Oh, but I don't have Wi-Fi.
Oh,
that's
that
right.
might be it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look whenever I get home though, because
Okay.
I feel like it is.
Someone just check on you, like
Yeah.
if someone that's watching the podcast right now, just check and let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Is that Gary Vaynerchuk? I don't think it is, but it could be.
Exactly. I don't know. But I do like that one. It's a really good one. There was one that I know like really motivated me. It was about like a popcorn business. And I don't know, it was just crazy how it worked. It's like a really well-known brand. Of course, I don't know the name of the brand right now, but it is a really well-known brand. It's sold in like Schnucks and everything. And just like hearing how they started like in their garage is like amazing to me.
I would love to find out what podcast. See if you can figure that one out.
The popcorn one? It's the How I Built This, but I'll see what the name of it is.
Try to figure it out.
I will, because it's so good.
Yeah, there's one on, it's a TED Talk.
Oh.
And I can't remember the guy's name, but he's got like this like really curly hair.
Uh-huh.
And he's the guy that started Charbana,
Yes.
yogurt. Have you ever heard that story?
Uh-huh. No, I haven't heard the story, but I know the yogurt.
So this guy owned a coffee shop. His
Yeah.
parents were like immigrants, came over here, or maybe he came over as an immigrant, came over here, started a coffee shop.
Uh-huh.
And he was looking through the paper in his coffee shop one day, and he seen there was a building like upstate New York where he lived, and it was this old factory that was closing down. It was I don't think it was yogurt. It was some old factory, and they were like basically. It might have been cheese.
Oh.
Maybe cheese, or it was something like that, but it was generational. Like it was like 3 generations that this business had been in business.
God.
And then the basically the grandson had taken it over, but his passion just wasn't there like the grandpa's was.
Yeah.
And so the business was falling apart. The building wasn't that great of shape. They were like laying employees off. Like the business was going under, and he wanted to sell out.
Yeah.
And so this guy went up and checked on the business to see the building and everything. It might even been it probably was a yogurt. I think it was probably actually a yogurt. Because now that I think about it, with this country the guy came from, he was kind of familiar with like yogurt. 'Cause I think that was just kind of like a little bit of his background. But basically he went up there and he didn't even have the money to buy it, but he called his lawyer or his attorney and was like, "Hey, I want to buy this. What do we got to do to make it happen?" His attorney's like, "This is a bad business. You shouldn't buy it." And then basically he just like called on Monday and he's like, "Hey, I'm buying this. We're making this happen." So he put an offer in, got to offer. He laid all the workers off except for 5 of them, like the maintenance guy, the president, the secretary, and like someone else. And they're like, "We're going to rebuild this business." And he came in like he knew what he was doing, but he's like at the time he's like, all I knew
Clueless.
was that we're going to paint this building.
Oh my
And that was like that was his first plan. Okay, we're going to clean it up. And so they cleaned it up, painted it, and then he ended up bringing the workers back in, hiring a bunch of workers, making this thing, like just really working on it and putting his passion into it, and then grew it into Charbana, which is apparently was one of the biggest yogurt companies in the world.
I mean, they're all over. That's for sure.
It's a huge brand.
Yes.
But it's just a really cool story about how he started off from a coffee shop, bought this whole building, and had No plan other than that he wanted to bring it back into business.
Yes,
And then
it's
ended
amazing.
up just growing to this massive
It's
thing.
amazing. There was another cookie one that the lady started baking. I think she was like a teenager, and she would like just bake for like fun and like sell it to like local people. Well, then it got to where like everyone started loving it. So she started taking it to like places in like New York and like selling it to them. And like so many people were like, no, like we're not selling your homemade cookies in here. But then some people would, of course. And then out came this like amazing cookie brand, and it's still around today, but I just, I don't know the names of them.
Yeah.
I should.
Well,
but
if you just listen to him once or twice, it's kind of hard to remember him sometimes.
Exactly.
Like,
No,
I
I
don't
do
remember
it
this
like
guy's
once.
name. It's like his name's like Rosman or something weird.
Yeah.
Like he's from another country, and I just don't remember it. But
Yes.
I do
It's
really
so
love
fun.
them stories because like
Yeah.
my big goal is I want to own a big business. Like,
Yeah,
I would like to own a C
exactly.
corp one day.
Exactly.
And so I love hearing these stories about how these people started out with nothing, because
It
I'm
makes you
basically starting out
understand.
with nothing.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, if this guy can start out from nothing
So
and just
can
put his
I.
passion, so can I. And so that's like
It's the best.
I love hearing them stories about
A
all
good
that stuff.
success story is like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite thing to hear. So yeah, that's another podcast that I do listen to sometimes while I'm running, but it really just varies what I'm in the mood for,
Mm-hmm.
what the tone of the day is. But I
You
do
ever
love
listen
it.
to Joe Rogan?
No,
You never listen to any Joe Rogan?
no, I haven't.
Oh my, Joe Rogan's a big inspiration for me here. to do
Really?
this, yeah.
Isn't he a wrestler?
Well, Joe Rogan was the guy. I can't believe you never watched Joe Rogan
No.
podcast. I think you'd be surprised how many people have probably been on Joe Rogan too.
Really?
Some people that you
I
might
need
follow.
to. I'm
Yeah.
always open to a new podcast. I'll check it out.
Joe Rogan. Well, he did do like MMA, like mixed martial arts.
Okay,
but
I thought so.
He never he is the announcer for UFC.
Oh.
Like he's one of the announcers for UFC, but he was a guy on Fear Factor back in the day. The announcer on Fear Factor.
Oh,
That's Joe Rogan.
yes.
And he's like
oh my
comedian.
gosh.
So
I would have never known.
really,
No, I would have never known
oh my,
that.
a Joe Rogan podcast is like the biggest podcast.
I just knew the
out
name
there.
Rogan.
Uh-huh.
Like that's the only reason like it rang a bell, but I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to.
There's
like I said, I'm always
some
down for
really
a good...
great ones on there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's where like I started. Like whenever I used to work, I would just put my headphones in. I would just try to find these inspirational
Yes.
stories.
Get you
There's
through the
one
day.
that I can't remember this guy's name either, which I usually do, but it's a big one. But yeah, he did the same thing, grew like this big business. And do you know who David Goggins is? You ever heard David Goggins?
I feel like I've heard of him, but I don't know what he did. The name rings a bell.
He was like a Navy SEAL, but he was a Navy SEAL that was like really overweight before he was a Navy SEAL. And he lost all this weight and then became a really like high level Navy SEAL, but also like when he was overweight, he decided like he wasn't going to be overweight anymore. And then he signed up for this 100K race and never ran a 100K. And he was super overweight. And they're like, you can't do it. You're too out of shape. It takes years of practice for it. Where he like practiced for like 3 months or 6 months and then went and ran this race.
Oh
and he
my
like,
God.
he talks about how like he like broke all the bones in his feet and he was like pissing on himself and just crapping on himself
my
this whole race.
God.
But he's done like multiple of them and he's just an absolute monster. But
That is crazy.
yeah, and he has a lot of inspirational stuff too. He has something called Taking Souls. Have you ever heard that before? Anyone
No.
say Taking Souls? So like he has this like thing where he talks about basically everyone that never believed in him before. Like one of his driving factors for him is he wants to take their soul.
Oh,
and so
okay.
he's doing these things just to prove all these people that didn't believe in him wrong.
Yes.
And so there's some days where like I'm not motivated and I'm just like I trying to find motivation, but I'm dragging. And so some days it's just about taking some souls. Like remember back on the people that said I couldn't do it or never believed in me.
And you're doing
I'm like,
it now.
you gotta do it just to take their soul.
Exactly.
So,
I love that. I love that.
It's kind of dark and like a little twisted, but also like sometimes you just need
whatever
some motivation
motivates
like
you
that.
though. Like honestly, there's no room to judge. There's no room to judge.
Sure.
I love it. That's hilarious.
So where's the dream for Grace? Like where's the
Honestly,
end goal? What's your goal right now? Maybe.
I really just want to keep expanding and growing. I want to be like a nationally known boutique. And I really, really so badly want to get into manufacturing my own style so I can carry every single style in extra small through 3X. That's like my biggest goal. Cause like with the way it is right now, I can do extra small through large. I can do small through extra large. I can do possibly small through 3X. Like there's not that steady flow of you can get this style in all sizes no matter what. So I'd really like to eventually start manufacturing, like kind of designing-ish my own styles. And I really just want to, like I said, keep expanding. Like maybe out of Missouri, maybe not. I'm a little unclear on that, but I'd also like to have like a big warehouse one day. And my like big goal is to just like hire like the homeless, like war vets and just people that are like down on their luck and just need that something to get them back up. Like there's no reason they can't pack orders. So I also joke with my dad. I tell him that he's never going to retire. I'm like, you're going to stop firefighting. You're just going to come work for me. Sure. So I'd like him to be managing the warehouse, and then I'll literally just be living my dream.
So, okay. So I guess you're just working on your steps.
Yeah.
Grow more locations to the point where you need to get a warehouse.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Sure.
Because I mean, right now, like we have Rosebud, of course, doesn't have a back room, but Chesterfield has a back room, so we can keep all of like our overflow and stuff in there for now. Like we're not to the point yet where we need like a specific warehouse, but I would eventually love to have one that like we just kind of like do our content in. We have like our like back end girls can like kind of work from there. We've got our orders all being packed there. We've have all the inventory being stored there. Just something, just a central location for all the excess.
Yeah. And if you start making your own product, you have to.
Yes,
you have to have something like that.
And that's something I really, really want to do because, like, I just absolutely hate having to tell someone, like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, this style only comes small through large, or, like, I just hate that so much. But, of course, to be manufacturing, like, you have to order, like, minimum 1,000 of each size of each style. So we'd be looking at, like, 8,000 to 10,000 pieces. And we're just not ready for that yet, of course. But it is something that I would love to do. And then also just like put my own twist on things. Like there's so many items that I see that I'm like, this is so cute, but I wish it was like this, or like, this is so cute, but I don't love the way it fits. Like I would love to just be able to tweak it and make sure it's fitting just how I want it to fit. And it's looking just how I want it to look. It has all the details that I want. So that's a big thing too. And then, like I said, just expanding.
You got to just grow. You need just
Pretty
higher
much.
volume.
Yes.
To be able to get to that point.
Yep. Because
you're already basically nationwide, right? I remember
we
seeing
do,
a thing.
Yeah. So actually, we do ship nationwide, and my goal is to ship to all 50 states. And I always said by the end of this year, so I guess I really need to like work on that again. But we're only like, I think 11 or 12 states away from shipping to all 50 states. Some of them are like the more tricky states. Like we have shipped to Alaska, but not Hawaii yet. So Hawaii, I'm like, how am I going to get that one? The other ones I know they'll come. Like I'm not worried about those. But Hawaii, if anyone out there lives in Hawaii,
buy something.
hit me up. Yeah, hit me up. I need to ship there.
We'll find something for you to buy.
Yes.
Sure.
But
I think that's a great
We
goal.
are for sure. Yeah. And like I said, I would just love to have like other locations. I'm like, which New York's never been like a dream location, but I really love New York. So I'm sure one day I'll be like, no, I'm going to put a store in New York. So I have an excuse to go there. But we'll see how that goes.
That's where a lot of like fashion comes from. New York, right?
Yes.
Like
a lot of that. New York and LA. Also Dallas, Texas is a big one too. So.
Well, Dallas is starting to grow. Texas is starting to grow.
It is for sure. The amount of people from Texas that I talk to, I'm like, it is a big, because I feel like, I mean, growing up, like you never like think of like the other states and what's going on, but like once like you're actually like grown and like you talk to more people, it's just crazy to hear like how like these cities and stuff actually are versus like how you thought they were. Mm-hmm. So that's always interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think New York's always going to be a big one, but I do think Texas is like the next big
growing.
thing. I mean, it already seems
fast.
like it's the next big thing.
Yeah. I've been there once. I went to market one time. I would love to go back. It's just finding the time to step away and go. But we didn't actually get to like experience like the true Dallas, Texas, because like where market sits is like right on the outside, and we didn't have a car or like a vehicle, and like Ubers were so expensive down there. So we were like, you know what, we're just going to walk back and forth. They had a little shuttle that would take us to market. At the end of the day, I think we ate at like Denny's because it was like right next to our hotel. Mm. So we were really living the life down there.
It was just business trip.
It was. It was a quick one, like 2 days, but
sure.
Fun.
Now, what's the market?
So it's basically like where you can go to actually buy the styles in person and like make those new connections and chat with your vendors and see like all the upcoming lines and everything that's going to be coming out for like the following season. And then you can place your orders there. So like right now I order a lot online because it's just what works for me in the moment. But like sometimes at market, you can get like exclusive market items, or like you can get ahead of the ordering. Like some items sell out at market before they even hit the websites. So like some items I never even see. So it's a really fun time. I mean, if you pictured like a shopping mall, but like all wholesalers and vendors, but it's like 13 stories high. Like it's intimidating. If you're new, I got to tell you, I was intimidated walking in there. But then once you get into like that first booth and talk to your first vendor and everything, it's just so much fun. Like they're there to help you just as much as you're there to help them.
Yeah.
So
you guys are
really building those
partners.
relationships. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I found like a lot of new ones, and it's just a lot of fun. Like it's a whole experience. Yeah. It's amazing. I love it.
Meeting them in person and getting to know those people like
it's crazy.
In person and have that personal relationship there, I think is super important.
It is. That's like the biggest thing of business is building the relationships and making sure that you're always networking, always finding those new people, kind of like what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Well, those people are going to be what help you grow.
Yes.
Because they're essentially like kind of like a step above already. Like
Yes.
almost a different level maybe.
Exactly.
And so those are the people that you want to be around. They're
Yeah.
going to help pull you up to that level
Yeah.
with them, whether they want to or not. Like
Yep.
if you're just around them, if you're a sponge that just soaks in all this information, which I can tell you already are.
Yeah, I definitely do.
That's just, it's inevitable.
Yeah.
You spend enough time around them and you're going to end up there.
I always hear you never want to be the smartest person in the room. And I take it to heart. I'm like, which I never am, but like, you never want to be, because you always want to be like having people that are stretching your mind versus like that are shutting your mind down.
Yeah.
Cause like I can just tell sometimes like different people that I'm around, like when I'm feeling like really, really inspired and I'm talking to these people and we're like firing each other up. And then like, I'll go try to have like that same conversation with someone else. And I'm just like not feeling it. I'm like, oh, like, maybe I don't need to do that. Like maybe I don't need to keep growing or like, so I just always make sure I pick and choose my convos with who I know is going to light me up and who I know is not.
Yeah, those people down in Texas that are in those 13-story market that you're saying, those are the people that whenever you have an idea, they're going to be like, do it.
Yes.
Do it,
Yes,
Grace.
100%.
Just figure it out.
Yep, push
and not
you along.
everything's going to work out, but they know that. And they're going to be the ones that really help push you through it all.
Yeah. I also have a girl that helps me with like my inventory and like my open to buy plans and all that fun stuff that we all know and love. But she is another one too that just like really fires me up. And like there was actually something I was talking about. I'm going to like keep the details kind of quiet because I'm not sure on it yet. But I was like talking to her about it, and like in my head I was like she'll probably talk me out of it, it'll be good. And then she literally ended our phone call with, well, I'm really leaning towards it, I really think you're onto something. And I was like, oh my God, like this might actually happen. And then I'm like all fired up about it, like I'm calling everyone, I'm like telling my employees, I'm like, you guys, like look, here's the rundown, this is probably gonna happen. So just like finding those people that like you can meet with, you can chat with, and just having those like sessions honestly are just what keeps you going.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just can't grow alone. Like as much as like you are the one, like you are in full control of your business and your growth, but like you need those outside perspectives and conversations to motivate you to keep growing your business.
Definitely.
So it's nice. Yeah. It's awesome.
We're about an hour and a half in. Oh. So you think we should call it quits?
I think so.
You think we should cap it out here?
Yes.
What I'm having everybody do is sign my banner here. That way, in case I ever move or whatever. And I just want to like tat it up with everybody that came on the podcast and visited. And like maybe it'll just be like something cool for me to have.
I love it. Yeah.
So make sure, can I get you to put Glamour and Grace and then put your own name on there?
Can I sign it right now?
Yeah. Go ahead and sign right now. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my handwriting is going to be like the worst.
It's not that big a deal.
I write like a child. Where are we going to curve this to? Signature.
Cool.
Oh, it's not
No, you got to sign. Well, you don't have to sign your name. Well, you're getting ready to get married.
We'll see. I'm still working on that. I'm just kidding.
Well, you are engaged, right?
No.
You're not engaged yet?
No.
Oh.
This is just decor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can sign your name, and then it'll be maybe, because what I want to do also is, damn it, Sean, you got to get on that, man. You're making me look bad here. But I think I always try to get with people, and I'm like, I would love to like recap in like a year.
Wouldn't it be cool?
And just to like follow up on everybody, because the first podcast I have everybody out and we talk about who they are, where they came from, like their passions, and I really like dive deep into like their past and everything like that. But then the second podcast, I'd like to have everybody on. Maybe we just talk about some other things.
Yes.
We talk about their growth and what everything's changed, and like just see kind of the differences. And
I mean, the amount that can change in a year is insane. That would actually be so
Insane.
cool. That would be so much fun.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
All right. Well, Grace, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for
I think it was
having
great.
me.
I think people are really going to enjoy it.
I hope so.
I actually ran into some people in the bar 2 weekends ago. I stopped in, barely
No
covered was
kidding.
playing, and they came up to me and they had heard that you were coming on the podcast. And so they were really excited about watching it.
I
And
love it. I love it.
I was like, yeah, it's.
I'll make sure to shoot them along the link. I'll be like, you guys have to watch it, share it, love it.
Yeah.
Comment.
Well, that's
all
big
of it.
too for the podcast. Is, like the ones that do the best.
Yeah.
Is whenever I share it, but the person on the podcast shares it too.
I'll share for sure.
Because I can only hit a certain demographic.
Exactly.
But there's people that your community that follows you that they want to watch it, but that I might not be able to reach. Even I probably can't reach 80% of the people that follow you.
Oh
and
no,
around you
I'm
and your
always down to share. My mom will share too. I swear, the most minor things that I do, she thinks I'm famous. Yeah. She literally thinks I'm like a celebrity. I'm like, Mom, calm it down there.
Yeah. Well, that's cool to have supporters like that.
It is. It is. Sometimes I play into it. I'm like, oh, this is Grace's assistant talking. This isn't even her. Like, just
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, Grace, thank you so much for coming out. I think it was a great podcast.
Yeah.
And then,
I had so much fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's wrap her up.